So another way to work the feet to the core, and making stronger your glutes and your back. We are going to start again with the feet. So if we're in a seated position on the ground, you are sitting on your sit bones and a little bit forward. And we're going to start with the feet with the toes lifted, and then just the big toe touches down. And then we're going to touch the big toe down, followed by all the toes. Lift the heel and release. Big toe, all the toes, heel lift, release. Lift all the toes, big toe down, all the other toes down, heel lift and release. All the toes up, big toe down, all the toes down, heel lift, release. Toes up, big toe down, all the toes, heel lift. So again, we're trying to find all the muscles on the top of the foot and the bottom of the foot in the arches. All the toes up, big toe down, all the toes down, lifting through the heel. Then we'll slide the foot forward again. And as you can see, keeping the heel and the toes down, and again trying to extend through the leg. And you can see my foot is flat, and then as I extend it forward, my heel is touching, my toe is touching, and my arches are accentuated. So again, that's all we're trying to do, is get more muscle activation, top of the foot, bottom of the foot, starting to warm up the ankles, have the muscles start to work up towards the knees. Then I'm going to have you come into a position where we're lying back. So feet are flat, trying to hold the floor, pressing big toes down, and now off of our sit bones, we're going to roll towards our sacrum, chin tuck, stomach draw in, and release. Toe plant, press the big toes, pulling back away from your big toes, stomach draw in, chin tuck, and release. So again, we're C curving, rounding that back, trying to get that sacrum to go down and drawing in through the soft tissue. Excellent. Then we're going to do shin box. So shin box is where you have one of your shins in front and the other one to your side. And so you're going to feel that you are more loaded on the leg that is forward. And we're going to work the hip that is higher and to the foot that is in behind us. So we can plant our hands down, either out in front, on top. Again, you're trying to find something that works for you. We're working this elevated hip. So we're going to exaggerate it going forward by pulling that hip forward, pushing down into the kneecap, and then we're going to sit back into it. So you can see my whole torso is twisting, and that is what we're trying to do, is figure out how that femur bone rotates in the socket. So again, I can exaggerate here by really pushing down towards the knee, lifting up through this hip, and reversing, pressing that hip back and sitting down. It almost feels like my knee wants to come up here. So again, you're trying to exaggerate. Brilliant. Then we're going to work on this back foot. So again, you can place your hands anywhere you need to. If you have to have them off to the side, that's body structure, that's all fine. We are going to lift that back leg. So again, we're going to try to find the muscles that lift that leg. So hip muscles around the leg, TFL, IT band, perineals. We're going to lift and release. And again, you're lifting and pressing that hip forward and back. Hip forward, foot lift, knee is down. And then we will change to the other side. Other leg comes out in front. Again, we'll begin with the exaggeration of the turning of the torso to allow us to exaggerate lifting this top hip forward. And then we will sit back towards that glute and rotate the other direction. So we're trying to put it all together. Pressing down into this knee, lifting through this hip, and twisting through the torso and reversing that. Pressing that hip back, twisting the torso the other direction. Knee almost feels like it's lifting. Two more times. I've only done these 5 to a side. I think doing them more often is better than doing many at once. Then you're going to try to find this neutral place, and we're going to work on this back foot. So again, you can place your hands down. We're going to lift through this back foot, pressing down into the knee, lifting of the hip, and release. The torso may twist, that's fine. Press down into the knee, pull over with the hip, and back. So if I keep my hands steady, you'll see my whole glute cheek starts to roll forward, lift the leg, and release. Excellent. So that's 5 on a side. Then we can progress again by adding the yellow loop. So we can put the yellow loop around the soles of the feet. We're going to roll all the way down, keeping your legs slightly wide, a little bit of tension on your legs. And we're going to work through that spine. So it's a sit-up. And we're going to try to keep the tension against the heels wide. If you're on a yoga mat, your heels are trying to go towards the width of the mat. And you're going to think of your big toe as having sort of a bungee cord all through the front side of your body. So head tilt lift, chin tuck. Then we're going to start to take our sternum and draw that down towards our belly button. And then as we roll up, it's as if that cord is shortening towards the big toe. And now we're going to stretch that bungee cord back the way we came. And again, chin tuck, head lift, roll, and roll back. Keep tension on the outsides of the ankles, pulling out. Again, we're rounding that spine. From there, we can do a progression even harder again. So hands behind your head, maintaining the opposite limbs. So one elbow on the ground and the opposite leg on the ground as we bring the opposite knee and elbow to touch. It's an exhale, elbow to knee touch, always trying to push down on the limbs that are still on the floor. Excellent. Then we can take this loop off. and work on bridges. We can start with a single leg bridge. So one leg again is long, the other leg is bent. They are close towards each other. I like to feel the shoulder blades holding me down instead of trying to use my triceps. So we're going to extend the arms. Again, just like when we were standing on our leg, the arms are long, but they're slightly soft because you're trying to push down the humerus head towards the ground and trying to really get the solid feel of your shoulder blades, the scapular, on the ground. And then as you bridge up, your leg just drags. And again, you can do 10 on a side, and then we're going to switch, making contact with the big toe and the full foot. The next one, we're going to bring a knee into your chest, and yet again, bridge, trying to keep the knee close towards your chest. And again, 10 on a side, and then we'll switch, pressing down into that full foot. Brilliant. And then the last progression would be to grab a stability ball. Knees are bent, feet are on the ball. Oh, pardon me. My head was sliding on my wood floor. There we go. All right, so finding those shoulder blades, feet in, knees are bent, pressing those hips up towards the ceiling and down. So again, trying to C-curve as far as you can, rolling those knees, lengthening those quads towards the ceiling, butt cheek clench, and really activating the hamstrings. And again, you can do 10. The hardest progression in this would be to grab a hold of a pair of sliders, floor tiles. I have hand towels. And then to just do a elongated bridge and keeping feet on the ground, glutes up. So elevate your glutes, slide the tiles out, trying to keep the glutes strong, elongating those legs, and then dropping your butt down at the very end, pulling them back out. So eccentrically loading those hamstrings. So you're elongating your hamstrings instead of shortening your hamstrings. So we'll do that again. Glutes lifted, pushing out, long legs, glutes drop and release, pull it back in. And again, 10, there's no ideal number. This is my last one. And down. All right, that is another progression from feet to pelvis.